So in this video, I'd like to continue where we left off. I think that was page 94. I think we did problems 1, 3. So let's take a look at problem number 8. Okay, so again, we have a lot of fractions in number 8, so I'd like to clear the fractions. So I'm thinking, all right, well, what is the LCD here? I have a 2 and a 3 as my denominator. So I'm thinking my LCD is going to be equal to 6. So I can multiply each part by 6 or 6 over 1. So if I do 6 over 1 times 1 over 2 times the 3x minus 5, and then equals 6 over 1 times 2 over 3x plus 6 over 1 times 1. Right? By doing that, we can kind of get rid of all the fractions, right? The 6 over 2 becomes 3. So it's 3 times 1 times everything in parentheses, which is 3 times 3x minus 5. And then we have the 6 over 3 becomes 2. So 2 times 2x equals 4x. And 6 times 1 is 6. So, right, this now becomes a more manageable problem, right? So I distribute the 3 to get 9x minus 15 equals 4x plus 6. And then I could subtract 4x from both sides. And you can see we're almost done. But notice how I got rid of these nasty fractions by multiplying by the LCD. All right, so we have 5x minus 15 equals 6. And then plus 15 to both sides. And I'll be left with 5x equals 21. Divide everything by 5. And you get x equals 21 over 5. Okay? It's not pretty, but that's our answer. Okay. Let's keep moving on here. Next it says solving proportions. Okay? It says ratios are used to compare amounts or describe relationships between two quantities. So they give a nice example here. If a rectangle is 6 inches long and 10 inches wide, the ratio of length to width would be the 6 over 10, right? Which could be simplified to 3 over 5. Let's take a look at the next page. Okay, so now they talk about a proportion, right? As an equation that states two ratios are equal, right? So we have the ratio of 6 over 10 and the ratio of 3 over 5. So we call this, we could check to see if this is indeed a proportion. The cross products would be equal. So if I were to multiply 6 times 3, I'd have to ask, is that equal to the same as 3 times 10? And yeah, 6 times 5 is 30, and 3 times 10 is 30. So since both ratios are equal, you could say we have a proportion here. Okay, and it gives us some steps on how to solve a proportion, right? We multiply the cross products and solve for the variable. So when you look at something like example 9a, right, you would multiply 6 times 15 and set that equal to x times 9. And that's what they do here, right? X times 90 is 90x. 6 times 15 is 90. So we divide both sides by 90 to get x equals 1. Right? Part B, you would do x times 35. Set that equal to 7 times 10. Right? So that would leave us with 70 equals 35x, right? Because 7 times 10 is 70, and x times 35 is 35x. Divide everything by 35 to get 2 equals x, right? And then they show the check here, right? I could plug this 2 back in to see if both sides are equal, right? I could take this x equals 1 and plug it in to see if both sides are equal. Okay, that's how we solve a proportion. Sometimes it's helpful to use parentheses when solving a proportion. For example, in this problem, you really want to put the x minus 2 in parentheses, the x minus 1, and the x plus 3. Because we have to distribute this 15. This is really going to be 15 times x minus 2 and 9 times x, right, when we cross multiply. And you can see they do the work for us, right? 9 times x is 9x. 15 times x minus 2, they show it here, but you have to distribute the 15, right? And you end up with x equals 5. Okay, and then they show the check over here, right? And when you look at letter B, right, again, it's important to put these things, the numerators in parentheses, so you'll see that we're going to distribute the 5 and the 10 down here. And ultimately, we end up with x equals 7, right? So let's try a problem on the next page, all right? So hopefully we can get a practice problem. Let's see here. All right, so if you look at something like number 9 on the next page, right, I'm going to cross multiply, right? So that's going to give me 8 times n equals 5 times 10, which is 8n equals 50. Divide everything by 8 to get n equals 50 over 8. You could leave it like that. If you want to reduce it, you could, right? I could divide everything by 2 to get 25 over 4. That's fine. I would accept either answer. Okay, if you take a look at number 11, right, I'm going to put the parentheses in, and when I cross multiply, I get 16 times x minus 2, right, that's this piece, equals 6 times x plus 3, right, that's this piece, and then distribute the 16. Right, you get 16x minus 32. Distribute the 6. Equals 6x plus 18. Subtract 6x from both sides. And you get 10x minus 32 equals 18. Add 32 to both sides. And you're left with 10x equals, what is that, 50? And then to finish the problem, divide everything by 10. Ooh, that was a long problem, but you get x equals 5. All right? And again, if you want to check your work here, you could sub 5 in here and here and check to see if both sides are equal. Okay. So that's about it for this section. Make sure you do take a look at the summary on the next page. Again, the answers are on the back of the book, but it's important that you feel comfortable working through this summary. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them in a Zoom session. So please let me know if there are any questions. Thank you for watching.